it is a statement of the obvious that in Europe, a lot of cash is sitting on the sidelines, waiting potentially for a Greek deal. It could all end in tears. But is there similarly the possibility of a major rally here if a deal is done?
Well, I suppose so to some degree, but I think if you look through the temporary negotiations, and they are temporary, they're really kind of creating a solution with mirrors, irrespective of what comes out the other end. And what I mean by that is that the long-term structural problems affecting Greece are pretty straightforward, and the math just doesn't work. They have a growing pile of debt, and whatever mathematics you apply to this situation, it's likely that down the road there's going to be more that has to be done, and what I'm suggesting is potential restructuring or write-down of certain amounts of their debt. But we have to hope, of course, they do work something out. As to the impact on the markets, it would certainly be positive. But again, I think we're still going to be talking about this issue months down the road.
Maury, we'll talk about this economy and this market in greater detail in a moment. Just to clear up one other thing that's coming from Europe, they have had the return of inflation. If the debate becomes about an early end to QE in Europe, how would that affect markets here?
Well, I think you're going to see QE going on for quite some period of time. So I don't know that there would be a significant impact. Obviously, there'd be some currency movement around that. And perhaps a strengthening of the euro. So in the currency markets, you could see the most movement, I would think. But as to anything happening anytime soon, it would surprise me if QE in Europe under the ECB didn't continue for quite some period of time from here on out.
Okay. Maury, at UBS, what's the view of the data that we're getting here now?
Well, the May data look better than the April data so far. Certainly the factoryism was up in May. We think Friday you're going to get a pretty good payroll report. We've got payrolls up 205,000 for May, and the unemployment rate coming down from 5.4 to 5.3. So it's given that negative GDP number in the first quarter, in terms of perceptions on the economy, it's very important that these data started to sequentially improve during the second quarter.
But Maury, are we going to break out of the 2 to 2.5% growth for the year, or is it just going to be another sub 3% kind of year of growth for the U.S.?
Well, we got off to such a lousy start in the first quarter, it's hard to have a plus 3% year. We think there's around 2.3% growth this year. But if you look at growth on a sequential quarterly basis, you'll be up at around 3% or a little bit better for the final 3 quarters of the year.